All right,
Let's do it.
welcome to episode 10 for this season of the World's Beautiful Game podcast. With you always, Will and Goose. What's going on, Will?
What's up? What's up?
Man, interesting last week in football. We had quite a lot going on. Some games in the Premier League that were uh, pretty interesting in terms of where teams fall in that pecking order and with their ambitions for Europe. We had some interesting comments and thoughts on Bruno Fernandes and tying the record of assists for the Premier League. We also had quite a bit going on with regards to roster selections being made for the World Cup. We touched on this a little bit last week, and I think it's still not official, but the Madrid situation, we'll touch on that for a little bit. And then just some U.S. men's national team news that recently came across this week. So we'll get into all that, but we'll start off with the EPL, of course, as we had an interesting game a couple days ago with City losing to Bournemouth in a game that really they needed to win and to keep pace with Arsenal to try to get that title from them, and they wound up failing, of course, as
hmm
we saw. And interesting, especially with this apparently being Pep's basically last dance with City, as he is one game away now from tying his or from leaving the club. What do you make of Bournemouth taking it to City, and then also this putting Bournemouth in Champions League football for next season?
Well, that's what it is. That's what I love about it. That it was that exciting. Chelsea, obviously. Chelsea, good lord. City choking and not being able to. They should have easily been able to handle Bournemouth. Not saying that Bournemouth isn't a good team, but obviously what City has and still trying to fight to the end. It seems like I guess they just gave up, and obviously Bournemouth pushing for that Champions League spot made sure that they weren't gonna get gifted a win. So it was beautiful to see. On one end, it it kind of killed the excitement to see what was going to happen towards the last week, to see if Arsenal was going to get it towards the end. But obviously they couldn't keep pace, and they gave Arsenal the league 1 week early. So yeah,
Yeah, so not a lot to play for the top of the table in this last week coming up, but of course we do have that relegation battle that we'll touch on after here a little bit. But yeah, you're right. It does kind of kill that excitement of man, who's gonna win it. I had a thought that maybe we're gonna get shades of like that season where United lost the
United,
title
yeah, that's what I
and
was
that
thinking. Looks back.
but no, yeah, it's interesting that they they couldn't handle Bournemouth. Bournemouth has had a hell of a strong season. Awesome to see an American on a team that's performing well and going into the Champions League and now for next season, of course. Interesting, their managers leaving at the end of the season with all the success they're having. And I saw as recent as today that it looks like Crystal Palace is looking at him, which would be interesting going from basically the same team, same type of team to another team if that's where he winds
Yeah,
up going, because it does look like now like the big name clubs are already filling their spots. We'll touch a little bit on the Xavi Alonso to Chelsea, but obviously Mourinho to back to Madrid, which is weird. And then Liverpool's not
cities.
letting go of Slot, City Maresca. So interesting that these all these coaches in the Premier League are leaving their teams and then not having that big name club to go to. So curious, what do you think about that? I mean, that's interesting, right? Because you leave a job where you did amazing, and now all of a sudden you're going to where?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he was just kind of like, hey, this is the team that this is what I want to do. Build up teams and maybe not fight in Champions League because it's too much pressure. And then at that point, if he underperforms at this point, even though Bournemouth secured a Champions League spot, and let's say they get knocked out early or they don't make it, then he could be in danger of being fired because that's what happens nowadays. Like he made definitely it's a strong feat for a team like Bournemouth to make Champions League from the Premier League. Obviously, given all the teams, big teams, quote unquote big teams, so maybe he was just like, you know what, I don't want that pressure and I don't want to than be let go because I didn't perform up to the standard that I don't know what these smaller teams. I don't know what they expect from them when they hit this spot. Just kind of like same go back to Leicester. They won the league and then all of a sudden, they
like
sack
6
Ranieri.
games
Like
into the
yeah, like are
season.
you kidding me? Like he did something that nobody else could ever do, and look where Leicester are now. So um, maybe that's why. So and then as far as the other changes. Maresca, I don't know how the hell he got to City. I don't know what they were thinking, but
It
okay.
almost feels like it was kind of planned out at this point. Like that was like
But why?
they already had like reached out to him because maybe Pep had kind of indicated to the city that he wasn't going to stay.
Yeah,
Uh,
but Maresca, like what?
yeah,
Anyway,
I don't understand either. I mean, for us, great. If he winds up failing at City, great. I want to see them win anymore, and I'm kind of
yeah, I
glad they
want to see a
didn't win.
downfall of City, so that'd be great. Yeah, exactly. They go back to.
I'm more than happy to see them. You know, with whatever charges they wind up getting, them just
Hmm.
boom, get out of here. No, we're tired of that. Obviously, but we'll move on from that. And so, that was a very interesting kind of just like dynamic within, a club playing for their manager who's leaving them, which is
Yeah,
it's a weird
good
motivator.
send off, I guess. But
Great
yeah,
send off, yeah, but definitely a weird scenario.
yeah.
And then, we're going to touch on Arsenal and, congrats to Arsenal. We've been talking about this. I know we've been kind of making fun and getting annoyed at some of, how it goes down with their matches and the refs and VAR. But kudos, they held off. They didn't bottle it this year.
I
Impressive
mean, I said it
defensive.
weeks ago. I said they were gonna win it, even though they scared me. I was about to, I was changing, but I did say that they were gonna keep it and win the league. So I, I saw something about penalties too, like that yeah. Yeah, we can make fun of and we can pick whatever. We can say that they got this, they didn't get that, but at the end of the day, they did what they did. Yeah, I mean, I guess honestly, you can say it's probably one of the best Arsenal teams, obviously other than the Henry era and everything, but what they've done and but not just from a footballing point, it's not obviously it's not as fun anymore. So it's not the same. You can't. It's hard to compare them to because individually they're not. They don't stand out, right? Other than Declan Rice playing his position well and pushing forward, Saka. Nobody there is exciting to watch. But given this new age of football and how it's done, they did really well. And obviously, like you said, all the stats that you go down again, not conceding, not giving penalties, red cards, and
The most surprising
even
one was second in
Champions League.
goals. Well, no, the
Yeah.
surprising one was second in goals in the
Oh,
Premier League. I
yeah.
didn't think they had. They were only like five off of what City had. So they had
So
69 and City had
yeah.
74 or
So
something like
that
that.
in Champions League, I think they conceded. I don't remember if they've
I think it's six
very
goals
little, if
conceded.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So again, you can't. As much as we laugh at these people that obviously want to compare them to places that or teams that they definitely would never compare to, but given they definitely you got to put them up as one of the better Arsenal teams in history because of just what we just talked about. I mean, statistically speaking,
I mean,
you
they're
can't beat
still in
them.
line
So
for a double too because obviously they're in the Champions
yeah,
League
yeah,
final,
exactly.
and
So
it's again, the conversation we've had around Arsenal this season has just been about their fans. The fans are the
yeah,
reason why people
fans
are
are
hating them,
delusional. Yeah,
and they've made people dislike their players because of the way that people talk about their players
yeah,
or their fans talk about their
yeah.
players because people are comparing Saka to Neymar
To
or
Mo
Messi
Salah,
or Mo
even to Mo
Salah.
Salah. Yeah, that's
And you're talking about a guy that has had two subpar seasons. I understand that he was injured this season, but last season I think he played most of the season.
again, he's not a
Has like
kid anymore. He's like
5 goals.
27, 28 years old, so he's not even like it's like he's a wonder kid. He's almost in his 30s, and he's got a few more years of prime, if
Is
that.
he that old? I thought he
Pretty
was
sure.
like
Yeah,
24. But
no,
I
I'm pretty
mean,
sure.
but
I think
regardless, I just think like the comparisons are a little too far. he is a good talent. Don't get
Oh,
me
he's
wrong.
24. All right, you're right.
When
I'm
when
wrong.
he when he
24, but
goes when he goes one on one against players, he does give you like some excitement. But again, like it's in limited spurts, and he's been out for a bit. So when he came back from injury, he did have I think two back to back games, one Champions League, one in the Premier League, where he did come back and do his thing. Their season has been impressive. Don't get me wrong. I will say that we might not like what how they score goals because it's all been corner kicks and weird things going on in the box, but they've done what they had to do to win.
it's more of like that.
As
It's kind
much
of like
as
that Floyd Mayweather. Like you hate how he won
yeah,
because it was terrible, but
yeah,
he won. So at the end of the
that's a
day,
great comparison. Yep.
at the end of the day, you can't knock him for perfecting the a way to win. So at the end of
As
the day, you can hate it all you want, but
as
they got
people
the
like
points
to
on the
call
board.
it, the dark arts and a little bit of a WWE going down
Yeah. So
each play.
kudos to them. We won't bash them until for
No,
now.
no,
Obviously,
until Champions League final, that's for sure.
yeah, exactly. But hey, yeah, they won the league and they won the league in a tough season because there was definitely a lot. Well, City had their down moments, but United were up, and just a few different teams that were fighting, and then the mid-table teams were giving everybody hell. So the fact that they were able to keep that and stay up top, congratulations.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, obviously from this London team, we're going to go over to the other London team that everybody's talking a lot about this season with Tottenham playing, well, two Tottenham teams, right? Tottenham playing Chelsea, Chelsea getting the victory over Tottenham. So bad timing for Tottenham to not be able to get a
Hmm.
result there, obviously, as they're only 2 points up on West Ham. And then obviously recently, the day after, appointing Xabi Alonso as the manager of Chelsea. But let's talk to Tottenham first, then we'll talk a little bit about that appointment of that manager. But last week, Tottenham they need to win, and then West Ham also need to win. So it's Tottenham's to lose, right? Because Tottenham needs to. No, it's West Ham's to lose. No, I'm getting that wrong. I'm sorry. Tottenham's
It's
up, so
Tottenham's to
obviously
lose.
they
It's
yeah
Tottenham's to lose.
they need a tie or a win, and then they're good. But obviously West Ham can have a say still at the end of the season.
So
Um,
yeah, this I mean it's gonna be tough because I'm just looking at
the matchup.
the matchups because it's West Ham versus Tottenham versus Everton, West Ham versus Leeds, but more so the positioning because if Everton win, that puts them up at 52, and that can bump them all the way to ninth place. I mean, it doesn't make a difference because they don't qualify because I see all eighth place is the last spot. Actually, no, 52 puts them if Chelsea lose. Um, well, in the goal differential, they wouldn't. Chelsea will stay there pretty much. But
Chelsea's kind of fucked, so
yeah, but they're +7, so even if they lose, it would only take just Brentford and Sunderland can get
can give
above
it
them,
up.
can pretty much take the eighth place spot. But I mean, Leeds is not really fighting for anything. Give them 50 points, they won't really go too much. So
No,
at
they're
this
just
point,
safe. Yeah.
yeah. So at this point, yeah, literally Leeds can kind of just be like, hey, whatever, hey, go ahead, West Ham, let's let you do. And then Everton, like I said, Everton, they really aren't fighting for position, but to get higher,
But
just to finish.
there's a whole interesting scenario also where if Villa loses, there's a potential for six teams to go to the Champions League next season from the Premier League. So that's really interesting.
Um, well, yeah,
It's
but
really weird what's happening at the end of the year. United lose to Brighton, I think. Liverpool doesn't qualify for Champions League, or I don't
mm,
know if they're already out. But there's like
well,
a
they're
whole mess of scenarios of
yeah,
things that can happen. So
yeah, because Liverpool's got 59 and Bournemouth's got 56, but they're +10 versus +4, so they'd have to lose by a good amount, and Bournemouth would have to win by a big amount to automatically get in. But then that still puts them in sixth place. So well, exactly. So it's yeah, looking at it, it's a whole mess. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, Tottenham are just down to their last legs, and they just pretty much gotta just give it everything they got.
yeah, I think those two games I'm gonna do my best to have like I'm gonna probably just put on that multi-game mode to just have both those games
Multicast. Yeah.
because I want to watch both to see what happens in both games. I think it's going to be that's going to be one of those that like you are not going to be able to take your eyes off. Both
Yeah.
teams have to go for it. Maybe Tottenham a little less, but even then, like they still need at least a tie, so that West Ham has no chance because I think goal differential Tottenham's still better, correct? If I'm
Looking
not
at
mistaken.
it, yeah, they are. They're plus. So West Ham are minus 22 and Tottenham are minus 10. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
12
so
goals. So there's
yeah,
no
so
chance.
it's
But
Tottenham just needs a
yeah,
tie, and
yeah,
West Ham has to
exactly.
go for it. So West Ham has to
hmm
play
West
balls
Ham
to the
have to win
wall.
regardless. Regardless of what the scores, they have to win.
Yep.
And then at that point, then they can look after. But yeah, they just got to win. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and we want to speak to the Xabi Alonso signing of Chelsea, which I think is uh, they are the what's lucky for Xabi Alonso is that he basically got to call and say, if you give me all this, I will take this job. And I think he's the guy to do the job for this type of team because it's a young squad. I'm curious what you think about this and how this could potentially change what Chelsea look like next season.
I'm surprised that he didn't. Liverpool didn't go, being that he's a Liverpool, former Liverpool guy. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a Liverpool legend.
I
So
think
I
he
guess,
wanted it. I think he
yeah.
wanted it, but
But
I
I
don't.
guess they wanted to stick with him.
Yeah,
I'm surprised even Man City didn't try to go for him instead. I mean, for Chelsea, I think it's incredible. I think it's a great choice. I love Xavi Alonso. I think obviously he didn't do well at Real because of the egos, and he's too young, so they just didn't respect him enough. And then I guess the board didn't give him the support.
I
So
mean, but we're
I
seeing
think,
what that mess is like. So
well, exactly. So,
you
but
know,
you see a coach like Mourinho come in, that makes perfect sense. Ancelotti, Mourinho, experienced coaches that'll be like that, don't give a damn what the hell the player says. So versus these guys are like, hey, like I had a great season, and so yeah. But I think he's like you said, he's great because there's a lot of young players, and so at that point they'll respect him because nobody on the team can have an ego to say, oh, who does this coach think he is? There's nobody there. Not Enzo. Not, I mean, Casado, I don't think has an ego. But, Enzo, just because he's Argentinian, and Argentinians typically always have egos. But I don't think, and if he winds up leaving. But other than that, I don't really see anybody else pretty much giving him any disrespect. So I think it's a perfect team for him to go to. I think he'll turn that team around. Like you said, if he had a lot of things that he asked for, that should give a lot of control for there to not be a crazy mess with everything going on in the back, in the boards or whatever up higher up that nobody sees. As long as he's able to kind of keep them or get what he wants, he'll be fine.
yeah, like it's wild to me because we were talking about this, and I'm not sure if they have a transfer ban still. But I think if someone's gonna make the most out of a club like that, I think what it does for Chelsea is like if there was any worry about like Enzo leaving or Caicedo leaving, I think this helps keep them because now they're like, hey man, we brought in a guy. Like this guy is gonna do what we need him to do to turn this around, and I think that helps keep those players because for as much of a mess as they've been, those two guys, are obviously kind of the glue right now that's keeping them together because they really don't have. Palmer disappeared. We're just talking about how he's probably not going to get called into England because he's just not had a great season. And they have some good young talent. Like so, defensively they're pretty decent. The midfield's obviously pretty decent, and they're really just it's just the signing of the striker was their downfall. I would say a little bit, and Garnacho because obviously
Well,
we
João
United kind of
Pedro,
no João Pedro's been great, but you can't like one guy can't do it all with how
he
many.
pretty much did.
I mean, yes, he did everything that he could to keep that team where they're at, but look, they're going to miss out on Europe more than likely. I think they're on the like if results turn out well for what is it Brighton, Brentford, Sunderland, and Chelsea doesn't win their last game, they potentially are out of Europe and they're only playing domestic football next season. So, I mean, I think important that they sign Xavi Alonso to turn this around and to keep those players? Because I don't know that they can sign anyone at this point.
I'm reading into it right now, and it actually says that they can. The transfer ban,
Okay,
it's a
and
suspended 2-year transfer ban, which I don't
oh, okay,
understand.
so they already went
But
through it. That just means that
yeah,
they
Chelsea
already
have
went
been
through the
handed a
punishment.
suspended 1-year ban from signing first-team players and given a 10 million pound fine from the Premier League relating to breaches. The ban is suspended over 2 years, meaning that Chelsea will still be able to register senior players if they do not commit any further breaches. No sporting sanctions such as points deductions have been imposed. So yeah, it looks like there. It's. I mean, they had the youth academy signing transfer ban for 9 months, which meant any player that played in any academies in any Premier League team this past year, they couldn't register any of those guys that they had signed. But that's done this year, so next year it looks like they're able to do kind of.
I mean, they. You know what's crazy is like if you think about some of maybe like strikers that they could sign on a 1 year, just as like a veteran striker may need to come in and help. It's just more to like because Pedro's. That's the thing, right? Is Jao Pedro actually a nine? I don't think he is. I think he's more of a ten
Yeah,
or
he's,
a
he's one of the
winger.
pure. No, he's one of the best goal scorers that have been
No,
have
I'm
been
not.
around for a while.
I'm not
Him
saying he's
and
not.
Igor Thiago,
I'm not
as far as
saying.
Brazilians.
I'm not saying he's not a goal scorer. I mean, he's obviously he got 20 goals this season. He scores. I'm just saying I don't know if where he's been playing is the one that makes the most sense for
No,
him, and I
I'm
think
pretty sure he's a striker.
they could make the most out of him. I think he was playing striker for
If he got
Brighton
you 20
also.
goals this season, I mean, what? Why would you want to push him out to the wing? That doesn't make sense to me. Look at the Premier League and how many players, how
Well,
many
because
forwards have scored 20 goals?
I think they could benefit from having him as a
Who can they bring
10,
in? Who
as
would
a
they
10.
bring in?
I mean, I think Xabi Alonso can have the aura to bring someone in. I don't
Who?
know who. I don't know who they bring in. Like I
That's what I'm
haven't
saying.
really
But
like looked
what
deep into
striker can
that.
they bring in that would do better than what João Pedro just did this season?
I don't know. Is Harry Kane available? Is he his contract up?
He's not going to Chelsea. He
Oh
goes from
yeah,
Tottenham. Are you kidding me?
he'll go to United. You're right.
He'll go to United before
Yeah,
he'll go to
that's true.
City before he goes to freaking
I
Chelsea.
don't know, but maybe he signs a Leverkusen striker because they had that dude that was doing really well for him when he was
Uh,
there. I forget his
is it
name,
Bonafis?
but yeah, that guy. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he can take him and
yeah.
he
He
would
can.
play for him.
He'll bring a couple players, but again, yeah, again, I think João Pedro. You don't remove him from having an incredible season and then try to push him into a different position, given what he did this year. So personally, I wouldn't see that happening. But I get what you're saying as far as maybe for all these extra games,
It's just
cup
because
games,
of
league
that
games, and
because
everything. But that's
resting
yeah,
players.
maybe
Yeah.
but you bring in players like kind of like um Calvert and Lewin, Lewin. Jesus Christ, I just
Calvert Lewin.
butchered his name. Yeah, Calvert Lewin, but players like that, not specifically him, but players like him that have experience that can come in and that can help out off the bench.
Well, that's my
But you don't
thought.
need
My
it.
thought is
But
that that's what he would be able to like.
if he can bring a couple players,
He can have the impact to bring in players that they need veterans. That team needs veterans. That's why
to
they're
me,
not.
it blows my mind is Osimhen. The fact that he's playing in Turkey at the age that he's playing and the quality, I think he's definitely one of the top strikers, at least easily top 10. And then if you really want to break it down, so I don't know what went on with him going there versus other big teams. So, but that's a player that can easily probably be starting the most,
I think it was something like that Carlos Tevez drama where he's like owned by a
maybe
something like that.
something, maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But anyway, enough about Chelsea. I think we'd spent way too much time there. We'll move on to United. We'll talk about Bruno tying the assist record in the Premier League with Henri and De Bruyne.
quality.
Quality. A lot of disrespect around this whole thing, right? We recently what I've seen is all the posts that are comparing like side by side, his stats specifically to the other two, talking about that open play goals has he's only assisted 8 of those, and the rest have all been from set pieces, and kind of downplaying how great he has been for United this season. I mean, I don't, and even Roy Keane's comments after the game where he was upset because he felt that Bruno was talking about that he was thinking about the assist instead of shooting the ball. Um, to almost say like he's only worried about his personal record when we see week in and week out that dude is busting his ass, all over the field, not just to assist on goals or try to score goals, but defend. And then how many opportunities has he? Like I think he's over 200 opportunities that he's provided his teammates to score goals. I mean, I don't. What do you make of all of it? Because I think it's a lot. There's a lot of like kind of downplaying, and I know it's because it's United. I get it, but how much like is it fair that these types of like comparisons that are being made, or that they're downplaying how great he's been this season to talk about he doesn't deserve the award that he got?
I think a lot of these former players, at this point, you know, obviously we love those the players when they played and everything, and as pundits, I think they are just I don't know what they have against even like hating Bruno. If you want to hate the rest of the players because you feel like they haven't been up to par to a United level, fine. But to give the hate that they give to Bruno to me blows my mind because I think Bruno could have easily the way he plays easily played on those former teams with the quality that he's given. And at the end of the day, who gives a shit if he's trying to get his record? At the end of the day, if you're getting an assist, what does that mean? Your team just scored a goal. So therefore, why would you be mad that he's looking to get an assist? If he got an assist, guess what? Our team just scored. So for one, that'd be the stupidest thing for me to. I don't understand how you would argue or why you would be upset at that. That
It's the
just
most
sounds.
unselfish,
It just
selfish reason.
yeah, it sounds like it's the stupidest thing I can ever think of. So yeah, with Keane saying that, that's just to me beyond stupid. I don't know what like it just pisses me off because again, that yeah, like who if that's a selfish reason, cool. But guess what? He just found a way for us to score. Bruno didn't even say that, right? Bruno said instead of taking the shot, or he could have taken more, or he should have passed
he,
instead of taking more shots. So therefore,
yeah,
first of all, he misquoted him. And one thing would have been if Bruno, instead of looking to give assists, maybe score more goals, and he was just shooting instead of trying to find an open man, then I would be like, okay, I kind of understand. Because yes, as a playmaker, if you're taking shots that aren't really getting anything for us when you had the opportunity to make the pass, that then that would bother me a little bit. But the fact that he's looking to pretty much set somebody up, and then on top of that, I think that only helps the team because if there's any player, let's say for example Sheshko, who hadn't been scoring, and then Bruno finds him, that's just going to give him motivation. It's going to build up his his confidence. So players like Mbumu, who's been, he hasn't been the same since the
he's
AFCON,
been
and
he's been
and he scored,
trash.
but he scored, and that gives him some confidence to get back. So Bruno finding these players, it helps the team also build back up. So to me, it's just really stupid that these old players want to continue to. Yes, we've been terrible for years now, and this year that we've turned it around and we've done pretty well. Yeah, have we been perfect? No, but it's good enough to keep us. Look where we finished. Obviously, we finished Champions League. We finished top three. Well, we're up there, and
We're only 3 goals scored off of Arsenal's tally. We
look
have
at that exactly.
66. Arsenal has
So
69.
so therefore, I don't know what more they want. I know that they've been very critical and they expect a lot more, but at this point, those guys aren't walking through the door anymore, and this team is obviously finding something, and Carrick obviously has been able to find whatever inspiration or whatever chemistry that this team has needed. So therefore,
The glue,
yeah,
right? The glue
yeah,
to
like it's
this
just
disaster
whatever.
that we've been
That's
this
why
season.
I like Rio. Rio is I love Rio because he'll he'll criticize them, but not in a way to pretty much just like downplay anything that they do. He's very supportive, and I like that, and I think honestly he's one of like the few ones left that you can even Scholesy that I love Scholesy, but he's same thing. Like I don't know what they're thinking
It's all
or
rage
what they're
bait, right? It just
yeah,
feels like
yeah,
it's
like which I
massive
didn't
rage
think those
bait.
guys. Yeah, I didn't think those guys would do that. I didn't think they were rage baiters, but apparently they're master rage baiters. So yeah,
Master rage bait. That is well
yeah,
put.
I had to throw that in
There
there.
was
But
there was one other thing too that he mentioned. He said that Bruno threw himself to the ground and got upset at Mbumo for not scoring a goal and getting him the assist. And that's another thing that really pissed me off a little bit because if you really watch Bruno every week, that dude is the first one to go and like pick you up when you had a bad moment. He's the first guy to go celebrate with you when he scored a goal, even if he's not part of the play. And like I just thought that was super interesting that your take on one moment in a game was that Bruno selfishly was upset at Mbumo for not scoring that goal. I think if anything, if you watch Bruno all season in the last few years, Bruno, if anything, was upset probably because uh, he's probably like wanting Mbumo to score for himself, like for Mbumo, because he's had such a struggle since the Afcon. Him and Ahmad, I think if anything, it's just Bruno being like, "Damn it, I couldn't get you that goal." Like not that, oh fuck, you didn't score that goal.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't exactly go there. I can see where he is pissed off that he didn't happen, but that's perfectly fine because the quality of players, the quality of level that you're at, this is something you should expect. When he puts the ball to you and he gives you the opportunity to finish, you got to finish. So yeah, it is. So I can see that side of being frustrated. And why would you pick him out? Because I guarantee you, if you look at films of Keane when somebody messed up and somebody had a bad play,
He probably
guarantee
ate them up.
he wasn't like, hey,
He
all right,
probably
we
ate
can
them
pick this
up.
up.
You're right.
Exactly. So for them to be hypocritical and talk shit about a player that is very that like you said, he is tries to motivate his team, praise his team and everything. And if he has a moment where he gets upset because he knows that that player can do better, it's like what when I expect more from you, I'm gonna get upset. When I expect you to fuck up and I expect you to miss it, then sure I'll be like, all right, buddy, better, yeah, you got this next time. No, but when I get pissed off at you is because I know what you can do and I know you can finish that. So that's why I don't see anything wrong with what he's saying. And the fact that these hypocrites now want to say stuff like that is dumb to me because obviously, if in their shoes, they would have chewed these guys alive.
What's
It's dumb.
what's more impressive? Because this has been the conversation, and this is not just Arsenal fans. Actually, it's kind of
Yep,
interesting,
Saka's
right?
better than
No, no,
Ronaldo.
no,
Yep,
no, no,
yep.
not soccer. Fuck
Oh,
soccer.
oh, oh, okay.
Excuse me. I'm not. That's not the player I'm discussing. So it's been Player of the Year. Declan Rice or Bruno has been the conversation. Crazy because there was clips of players from Chelsea and I forget what other team that they were asked, "Hey,
The
who's your
same,
Player of
Bruno.
the
Yeah,
Year?" And they said Bruno. We all look at it, and I know some of it for us is we're United fans, but we watch it week in week out, so
yeah.
it's hard for us not to say it's Bruno. I also watch the Arsenal games, and I'm not going to say that Declan Rice has not been a great player for United because his it's just a different
Arsenal.
role, right? So he's a Rodri. He's a Rodri. That's what
Yeah,
Declan Rice is with
yeah,
a little
yeah,
more offense because he does
yeah,
score some goals.
yeah.
But Bruno, what's more impressive, the turnaround after Amorim destroyed United and United making it to third, or is it more impressive because Arsenal wins trophies? Well, now has won the trophy, the Premier League, and is in a Champions League final to potentially win a second trophy for the season. Like which one does, based on the team and
Yeah.
the player performing for that team, which one do you think, like in your opinion, deserves a Player of the Year?
So, the turnaround was beautiful, it's perfect, and Bruno obviously was pretty consistent throughout fighting and everything, and he was great. For that team to turn around, especially after, yeah, given seeing what we were doing in the beginning of the season, it's easy to say, and if they did say Bruno, I wouldn't be upset at it, but I would go with Declan Rice, only because it's consistently been this whole year, this whole season, and not just in this tournament, but obviously the Champions League, which is better than the Premier League. Obviously, I mean, any Champions League is better than any individual league because you're getting the best of the best from everywhere. So the fact that he was able to pretty much uh, power that team through to do everything that they've done and to play the amount of games that they've done and to be that consistent the whole season, I gotta give it to Declan Rice. As much as I would want to give it to Bruno because Bruno definitely deserves it. And if they said Bruno, I wouldn't be upset. But yeah, those are the only two. But I would give it to Declan Rice. It's kind of like the year that Rodri won, um, you
Ballon d'Or.
know, the Ballon d'Or, which I don't think he deserved it, but that's neither here nor there. But he was the engine of that team to consistently give him that performance at a high level the whole time.
Well,
So
yeah, I
it's
mean not just for
you know
his club team, but also
well,
in Spain,
yeah, yeah,
obviously.
exactly. And I mean in England, Declan Rice and obviously the games that they played, he still stood out. So I'd give it to Declan Rice this year. To me, I I have no complaints, and And if he didn't win
I
it,
don't
I'd be
think.
surprised.
I think what people don't realize, like, neither one is a bad choice, like that,
No,
like, and that's the
no.
problem. It's like
People are
you're,
gonna be pissed off regardless, right?
yeah,
People are gonna be. I
and
mean,
I
diehard
can't
United
even.
fans.
I can't
You
even
know,
get mad if Declan Rice wins because they won the Premier League and they may win the Champions League. So
I'm a diehard. Obviously, we're diehard United fans, but I'm still a football fan. So diehard United fans that are blinded by their love for the team are going to be the ones pissed off.
I mean, vice
And
versa,
people
and Arsenal fans the same. Yeah.
well, no, but Arsenal fans, yeah, there's just ignorance there. Because from what I've seen, because I'm not saying obviously every Arsenal fan, but a lot I've been seeing a lot of videos, and the ignorance on comparisons of
It's been
players is
all
just
season though. It's not just
blow
been
my
now.
mind.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke at first, and to see that these people are serious is a joke. But anyways, um, and obviously, team people that hate Arsenal, any London teams, right? They're not going to want Declan Rice, so they're going to complain. So they're going to complain no matter what. But at the end of the day, I think Declan Rice deserves it. Um, just consistently for the whole season.
Yeah, I
He's
mean
definitely been
he's played about he's about to be on like 60 games or
yeah,
something
that's what I'm
close to
saying.
that.
The
So
fact
yeah,
that the longevity and staying healthy,
and he's done it
that
throughout. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think it's
So
a bad shout.
I, I yeah, I don't think it's up for debate. I think he's definitely the player of the season. And Bruno does come in second, but I don't say it's a close second. It's a close, it's a close second because I think because of what he did the whole season consistently and
And I mean,
showed up the whole season.
they did win the league and
Yeah,
soon
exactly.
after
They
Champions
won the
League.
league and when's the last time? So exactly. And even if they don't win the Champions League, second place in the Champions League. And again, to do something that Arsenal hasn't been able to do in what 22, 24 years? What
22
is it?
years.
Yeah. So exactly. It's almost you got to give it to him. So that's my take.
Oh, all right, and then on that segue, we'll kind of close out the EPL talk. We're gonna go jump into more of what's happening around the world with regards to. We'll start off with Mourinho to Real Madrid. It seems to be almost a done deal as he rejected an offer from Benfica to stay, even though they had that invincible season, went undefeated, but didn't win the
11
trophy.
ties,
It's still
something like
undefeated.
that.
Yeah, still undefeated. But I
Mm,
think he won the
mm,
third. They didn't even qualify for Champions League, I believe, is what I saw. And
exactly.
then,
Yeah, exactly.
so
So
yeah, so he clearly did not want to stay there after he saw that Real Madrid came a calling. And
I don't even think they really came a call. I think he went calling
he
and then
probably
they're like,
did.
hey,
You're
I
right.
want to go, and then they're like, all right, we'll consider it.
Yeah, Florentino Perez is probably like, yeah,
Um,
we need you. Please come
Yeah,
back.
I mean, it makes sense. I don't see any other coach really able to kind of grab a hold of that locker room unless obviously Ancelotti came back, and I don't see that happening because I think he's having too good of a time in Brazil right now. So
I feel like Conte would have been
um,
a good one too, but because he's
no,
leaving Inter.
yeah, yeah, but no, I think Mourinho's the guy. I mean, his tactics are sometimes you question it, but he wins, and at the end of
This
the
is a
day,
little bit of also, I want to say for Mourinho, it's kind of like a comeback because he's had quite a turbulent last 5 6 years now. Like he hasn't really like yeah he did well with Benfica, but obviously didn't win anything. And even all the other was it Fenerbahce or was that where he was at?
was
Um,
it
oh
Galatasaray?
look, Chris Richards injury update. U.S. defender Chris Let's say about okay. We'll talk about that. It just popped
But
up, but yeah, no. So that's
yeah,
it.
he hasn't had much success.
This is his bounce back, right? This is
Yeah,
why he's
and I
doing it.
think yeah, I think it's definitely needed. They need a coach like as we talked about earlier that can kind of put his foot down at that club because that club is just going off the rails. And I mean honestly, I think we all seen it. I think Mbappe is definitely a big cancer to any team he plays for because Vinicius steeply declined from what he had just done the season before, and I think everybody else just went down. And
Jude
obviously they lost. Well, they
looked
lost
terrible.
they lost their senior leadership in the middle. Modric was the last one there, so obviously losing Cruz, Modric, and Casemiro.
And Carvajal's
Uh,
gone now last season.
yeah, and Carvajal. I mean, he was pretty much hurt the whole season, so he really couldn't have too much to say. So I think that's needed. I think he's needed. I think it's going to help out. And uh,
It's a little sad because you mentioned we've mentioned this Mbappe topic before, and I've tried to be devil's
I
advocate and
did
say
too.
that he's maybe
I
not
try to say
that
it wasn't
guy,
him.
but after he threw I think he threw the coach under the bus in the last interview he had. Um, that doesn't speak well for you, as a professional that you go, you know, I get that they are asking the questions and you're just giving your honest take, but I think you have to, rein that in, even if you do feel that frustration, right? Because what does it help? Your team's already like didn't win anything. You're barely in Champions League, and you're about to end the season on the worst possible in the worst possible way, and then to add to that, you're just like, oh, let me just shit on this guy who's about to get fired anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right, and you
it,
lost.
it
I
just was
mean,
a
you lost
really
the
poor look for sure.
yeah, you lost the league title to your rival at their home stadium, and I think that was the first time that's ever happened that Barca have won the title in a Clásico.
With games to go this bad too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but yeah. So I think Mourinho's a good choice. I think that'll that'll kind of put them back on track and see what happens.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the biggest drama that we saw around the world that
Club
we
teams,
felt
yeah.
that made sense to kind of talk about a little bit. Because Mourinho to any team is always big news, so we had to definitely touch on that for a little bit. Next, we'll kind of go into a little bit of the World Cup roster talks. Injuries keep plaguing some of these clubs that are starting to announce their World Cup
National
roster.
teams, yeah.
Funny situation. We had this before as João Pedro was
Unfortunate
left
that
off the Brazil national team, but come to find out, it was actually a mistake by Ancelotti, who forgot to call his name. But I'm still surprised because he did a video to apologize and say that why he didn't select them. So there's a lot of weird
yeah, it's
going on
craziness.
there.
Yeah, and as you can see if you've watched the videos, people like players and families in Brazil, this is like winning the lottery to them. They or obviously we're in America here, so it's like being drafted to a team
Yeah,
where everybody has because you don't see that anywhere else. At least here in America, obviously, anybody international is watching. I know you guys don't love us, but that's just is what we can compare here. I don't even really think in most other countries. I've never really seen France and Portugal, Spain, where they're kind of surrounded like they do in Brazil. There's a few other countries that do it, of course, that we see at least. So it's definitely a special moment, an important moment, and I'm sure that that was definitely a tough
that had
tough
to be
watch for
a
the family. As
that had to be a yeah. I saw the reaction. They were pissed. This
yeah, it was
family
a
was
big low. It
so
was yeah,
mad.
it was upset and sad. Definitely,
I mean, because as we
I,
mentioned, 20 goals
yeah.
this season. This
Well,
guy is
yeah,
busting ass in the Premier
other
League.
than Igor Thiago, which and I forgot who brought it up because I was watching, I watched a lot of clips and everything, and a lot of Brazilians they were like, cool, we're taking Igor Thiago, who did great against small teams. When it came to big teams, he was nowhere to be found. And against that United game, I did watch him. I even bet for him to have, I think, a shot on target, and he didn't have a single shot on target on my parlay, which he killed. But anyways, but again, like he didn't have a single shot on target. Like that's so against big teams. So again, World Cup, yeah, they're all big teams because it's the World Cup. So
Well, every game is big, so the pressure
that's what I'm
is
saying. So it's
insane.
going to be
Yeah,
different. But so I think João Pedro starts for that team. I definitely
absolutely.
don't see. So
And I mean, you
that
probably
was
wind up using both of them to be honest with you, because it's Cunha, João Pedro, and I would put two tens and then Thiago up top. I mean, why not
well,
go
we'll see
for?
what he does.
I mean,
No, I
it
don't
just
think they're going
depends
to
on
go
how
that way.
Ancelotti plays, but
Yeah.
um, but
Neymar
Neymar.
also coming in.
But
I think
did you see
that
though he
was
got
big
injured again?
for. Yeah, I saw his calf in the game, so it's going to
It
be
said he
a
should be
close
fine for the
call.
World Cup.
But I hope, yeah, I'm happy to see it. Obviously, we know Brazilians
It
in their 30s, it's a massive decline. He's 34, so he's not going to play a big role for the team.
it
But
didn't
just
make
to have
sense
him
not to take
there,
him though. You had to
yeah,
take him.
he's too big, and he's the last. I think he's the last big Brazilian player left. And the fact of that Joga Bonito era, because he's the only. There's no other player that he's the last player that plays in that style. So
Yeah,
there's really no other player that plays beautiful football.
the way the dude moves with the ball, just like
Yeah,
even like
just
off the ball, he does. It's
yeah.
just incredible.
Vinny
So
shows
happy for
flashes every
him,
now and then,
but
but
he's more
nowhere.
just one on one. Like
But that's what I'm saying. So he,
yeah,
he well he can take and he'll do every now and then, but nothing the way yeah.
no, it
So
doesn't
it's
look as natural as it
yeah.
does with Neymar. You're right.
So I'm happy he's going. Yeah, I would have been very sad for him to be left out. I mean, it's pretty much the big three, as you could say, because Ronaldo, Neymar, and
The
Messi's last
last three
dance.
of that
So
generation, that's for sure.
so yeah, I think I was happy to see that going on. Um,
And Richarlison left off.
yeah,
I know he's
okay.
not. I know he hasn't been, but he's.
Played like 6 games all season, so who cares?
But yeah,
And he's
that's
playing for
like
Tottenham.
a name that it rings. So you just have to
Gets,
mention it.
yeah, but
And then we'll
I mean,
move.
yeah, because he had a golazo in the World Cup. I think the first Brazil's first goal was like a bicycle or whatever. So yeah, we're obviously for last World Cup, but yeah, yeah,
And
no
then
big.
another team that's seeing some big misses is with Fermin out completely for the World Cup for
Hmm.
Spain. So good, solid Barcelona young player that's not going to be available. Yamal looks like he'll be set to miss maybe 1 or 2 games at the beginning of the tournament, which is big. I know he's had an injury problem all season, which I thought was back to normal, but it looks
Yeah,
like he picked something up towards the end of the season. That's a big miss for that team. And I think a
yeah.
lot of
Oh
people
yeah,
are
for
picking
sure.
Spain because of him to win the World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely is a game changer. Even at his young age, he definitely, whether you like him or hate how he is off the field on antics, it doesn't matter because the kid can ball. So that is a big, big miss.
Yeah, for he's young, so he's gonna be stupid. But when he's on the field, he doesn't fuck around. He goes for it every
Oh yeah,
time,
yeah,
and
exactly.
defenders do fear him when he's on the ball. So, the big that's gonna be very interesting for Spain. Who's in their group for the World Cup? Do you remember?
Spain has, I find it. I'm already here. It's Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. So
I mean,
Uruguay is obviously, yeah. So he can in the first
it just
match.
depends on what Uruguay you get because Uruguay shit the bed against
I
the
mean,
U.S.
either
in the
way, is
friendly.
the
So
first match is against Cape Verde, so and then Saudi Arabia. So you're not getting Uruguay until the third match, anyways. So it
yeah,
gives him some time to
no, for sure.
uh, at that point. And yeah, there. Is it right? Yeah, Cape Verde, Saudi, yeah, and Uruguay.
I
So
mean, that's one of the easier
it gives
groups.
him
So
time
I
to,
guess
yeah, yeah,
he needs the time. He should just take it because I think they should be fine um, with those games. I think they got to be favorites to win that group, regardless of whether Lamine Yamal plays. So they have
yeah,
a deep enough
exactly.
roster. And then to close this out, because we don't want to go any longer here, we already kind of went on quite a bit.
Yeah, pass, yeah.
A recent injury, Chris Richards for the U.S. national team going down, tearing some tendons in his ankle, which weirdly enough, his coach is saying he's still 50-50 to play that final for Crystal Palace in the Conference League. And supposedly the other thing was that he shouldn't miss any minutes for the World Cup, which is great for the U.S. national team. But that's got to be like real interesting in regards to like he. That means he's probably not going to play. Well, he already was going to be late to, I think, the last 2 games. I don't know how much he was going to
I
train
mean, the warm ups.
the send off games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fuck that. You're not playing those games for if I'm the coach, hey, you're resting and I need that fully healed. Your physio trainers, you're pretty much rehabbing and we're checking that out to make sure you're good to go because that is our only center back.
He's the
I
center
don't
back.
care.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
center
that's
back
what
for
I'm
us
saying.
now.
That's our only center back that we can say that's a center back. So I'm giving them a rest. Yeah, cool. Come to camp. You're gonna be with the, you're gonna be in the training staff.
I
You're
almost think I
recovering.
think he's our captain, to be honest, too. Like
I would see it.
there's
I
a lot
mean,
of
why
that.
not? Yeah. So
Funny enough, I was getting tired of this conversation, but we're having it. We're gonna have it again because I saw rumors on this as well that apparently the U.S. soccer somehow has kept pressure or schmoozing Noah Kai Banks, a center back that's playing in Germany. And supposedly it's expected that Pochettino's going to call him in for the World Cup roster.
I'll take it. Shoot, hey, why not? We can eat all because again, Tim
With
Marine, big shout. I love you,
how big is
but
this though,
yeah.
considering what just happened with Chris Richards
Well,
though?
that
Because
too. If
obviously
Chris Richards any setback, exactly that. So we need somebody that has potential. I mean, he's potential, and obviously he had a great season. So hey, pull him in, obviously, and then that's for the future too, because obviously he's young.
yeah,
So
he's
that's a big
super
help.
young. Yep.
Yeah, which we'll see. So we'll see what happens when the roster comes out. Yeah, other than that,
And yeah, that's really it for today. I mean, we don't have much more to say. That was just kind of the big headlines out there that we wanted to discuss a little bit.
quick shout out to 90-year-old Neuer being called back again.
I'm
and apparently
surprised
he's
you're
gonna be
making that
starting.
shout out because you were so pissed at him.
Yeah, I'm pissed. I don't think I think he's past his prime, and I think so.
I think Ter Sagan is not taking that
Ter
one too
Stegen's
well.
not even going. He's not
He's
even
not even on
going.
this. I mean,
No,
would you
it's
go if they're not going to play you?
no, it wasn't even.
He
It's
just
not
wasn't
even
called
that.
in.
He wasn't called in. It was Bauman.
Mm.
He was the backup, and he played the whole Euro, pretty much 6 games, and so it's kind of. I guess he has a problem with the coach, so it's kind of like, well, you're sitting anyways. So I don't think. I think Neuer shouldn't. He was already out. Respect him, one of the greats, one of the best ever to do it up there, but I don't think he should be going. But is what it is. Um, Also, quick shout out to Mamdani out there. Not anything political or not, but he got secured the tickets
I
for
saw
apparently
that.
there's
I
a
saw
thousand
that.
tickets or something like
Yeah,
that.
fifty
And him
dollars a
and
ticket, $50 thousand
him and
dollars.
Tim Weah, yeah, him and Tim Weah. Tim Weah actually, I guess, he supported that too. So to get
My man from New
so
York.
people, yes, so that's awesome. Get people instead of paying thousands of dollars. Anybody international watching, I hope you guys. I saw the issues with the hotels booking because of course Infantino is a piece of anyways. Um, but I hope things work out and yeah, see tickets plummeting. Obviously, I won't care to go to a single game because I don't want to support. I hope this bum gets taken out by the next World Cup because it's just a disgrace. Obviously, people that just enjoy this and is exciting, especially for us on here in on the Americas, get to get a World Cup again and to see this joke of a thing happen. Um,
Yeah, just turned
at
into
least that's
a
cool to see.
crazy money grab, and I'm
Yep,
glad to see it too because since he came in, that dude's been trying to help grow the game for the World Cup and build hype for the
yeah,
World Cup, right? And it's not something we're seeing a
streets and
lot of
everything.
everywhere. Um, I was able to attend an event not long ago here at Cowboy Stadium that wasn't hosted by anyone in particular. It was just like a local event, some like it's like a small sided game company, which was really cool. Mikey got in on the fun. You saw the
Yeah,
video, which was
saw
great
yeah,
for me. But yeah, no, it's 5 days away from the roster announcement for the U.S. men's national team, which is something to note. They're going to be doing the reveal in Times Square, like they
okay,
did for when
okay,
we
cool,
went for
cool.
the
Hey,
World
that's
Cup
that's awesome.
2010, 13, 14. So when we were
Yeah,
there. So I'm excited to watch. I mean, like you said, you probably won't attend any of the games, but I obviously will be
I will be
watching.
watching somewhere. Yeah, yeah, I will definitely be
I have
watching.
a
I got a bar.
85-inch TV in my house, and I think that's going to
Yeah,
be enough.
oh
So I
yeah,
should be
I have.
fine there.
Yeah, I'll be in my new spot, so I'll have something set up pretty awesome there too. But yeah, and then yeah, for those of you guys that do follow us, if you whatever team you follow, let us know if there's any exclusions or anything you're happy to see, and we can definitely talk about it. Quick, hopefully DR Congo, hopefully everything gets situated. I don't care what team is there. I hope they all make it because they deserved it. They worked their ass off to get to this World Cup. So I hope everything with that situation also gets sorted out and everybody's able to make it safely to compete. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game that we love, and we want everybody to, it doesn't matter who it is, get a chance.
True that. And on that note, if you haven't been following, I'm doing a 30-day challenge of the Panini sticker book. It's the last one that Panini will be doing since Topps now took over as they ended that contract with Panini. So be on the lookout for that on the socials. It's fun to do. It's something different. But
That's cool, but yeah,
Let us know if you
tops.
let us know if you guys are missing any doubles. I am more than happy to send them out as we go through this process. Let me know how your journey's going. I'll be happily doing another one here in a bit. But please subscribe, like, comment. Let us know if there's a topic you want us to discuss. More than happy to. And if there's anything that you don't like that we're saying, let us know as well. We're happy to engage. This is all about building community within our country since the game is slowly getting there. Not there yet. Third most popular in the country now. But with the World Cup, we're hoping to kind of elevate that even more. So any part we can play in doing so, please join us in whatever way, shape, or form. Listen, subscribe, like. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast. But thank you for listening. Have a good one, and be on the lookout for a special pod. Maybe we'll do one for the reveal of the U.S. men's national team. But to that, have a good one. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. See you next week.
Deuces.
Powered by
Get you
Riverside.
some Coke. Get the stickers.
Oh, really?